Chairman, for having me. My name is Terry Gorman. I'm with Rhode Island Immigration Law Enforcement, and I'd like to reiterate something about that Representative Williams. I wasn't here in 2000 when that legislation was going on, but I've been here every year since 2006, opposing driver's licenses for illegal aliens. And I'd like to take umbrage with my friend that comes over to give me a kiss every year the first day that I'm here. Governor Carcieri did not cancel the ITIN numbers because of people of color. Governor Carcieri and his wife were actually missionaries in South America for years. So how in the name of God did Governor Carcieri have that in mind that he wanted to disparage the people of color? And also I'd like to agree with Representative Almeida, even though he's gone, that about the beautiful sister. I have to agree with that. But anyway, on Bill 5518, I'd just like to encourage you to read the information from FAIR. Now, whether people can say what they want to say about FAIR, but it's one of those respected organizations on immigration in the whole country right now. But please read that. And I firmly believe that passing bills like that do only one thing. They encourage more illegal immigration in Rhode Island. Period. End of story. We already have sanctuary cities. We're a sanctuary state. We have communities that try to become sanctuary cities. Thank God that it didn't happen in a city recently. But we can't afford to do what these bills allow to happen if they're passed. We can't afford more illegal immigration. And on Representative Williams' bill, I recently submitted an email to all of you from citing a federal law, and I've already been taken to task for that, but it's 8 U.S.C. 1324. It's against the law to aid and abet illegal aliens. Period. End of story. A government agency can't do it. A church can't do it. Individuals can't do it. It's the law. Just because it's the law and it's not enforced, which a lot of other laws aren't enforced either, that we think they should be enforced, it doesn't mean that next year the government couldn't enforce that law. In addition, well, I just spoke about the other emails that were sent to all of you folks, but I have a copy here of the two things that were sent to you folks. One of them, that's the aiding and abetting law, a copy of the aiding and abetting law. It's very precise, but goes right to the point. I don't know why it can't be enforced. And the other one is about 5518. But you should all have those emails already. Have you given any thought to the fact that in a recent report from the Latino Policy Institute at Roger Williams University, they claim that there are 25,000, not 100, 25,000 illegal aliens currently employed in the state of Rhode Island. I find that an abomination that we admit that they say that right out loud. And the lady that was the former head of the Latino Policy Institute on Dan York's show told Dan York, look, there's 35,000 illegal aliens living in Rhode Island. We're not going anywhere. Get used to it. You can play that back and see. But included in that number, and I feel as though in this bill, it needs to be addressed somehow, because the rep mentioned the individual tax identification number. We're going to give these permits to, according to the bill, illegal aliens or undocumented immigrants. There's 25,000 people out there looking to say, wow, we're going to get these licenses. And not to mention the people that would come here to get those licenses. But out of that out of that 25,000, this bill will only give those licenses to a maximum, the Roger Williams study, a maximum of 5,086 out of 25,000. And the state of Rhode Island's number, they claim this 3,034, the Department of Revenue claims there are 3,034. So it's deceitful, I think, to say that this bill is going to give these driving permits or whatever to illegal aliens, when in fact there are only, according to the state of Rhode Island, 3,034 people that use the ITIN number that would be eligible to get the license, because you have to prove you pay taxes in Rhode Island for 2 years, according to the bill. And regardless of whose numbers you choose, are you all aware that we currently deal with 102 languages in the state of Rhode Island? 102 languages. How is the DMV going to look at that if, just say the minimum, 3,034 people show up to get a driver's license, and we need interpreters for those 3,034 people? Where does the money come from for that? And another thing about, I mentioned my friend Stephen Brown, what do you folks think is going to happen if this bill passes and those driver's license permits or whatever are given out to the people that have ITIN numbers? When some illegal alien goes to Steve and said, we want to sue the state of Rhode Island because we want those licenses too. Are we prepared for that? And I don't think Steve could deny that that could possibly happen. And lastly, I'd just like to comment on some things that in the bill itself. I'd just like to know who verifies all of the things that we're talking about. Who verifies the documents, a foreign birth certificate? Does the state of Rhode Island have something to verify that somebody gives them a birth certificate that is actually valid? A foreign passport. A foreign passport that hasn't been expired for longer than 3 years. Why is that? Why shouldn't it just be a passport? I don't understand that either. And let's see. A valid, unexpired consular identification card. That's not even a valid form of identification in the United States. A consular, a matricular consular card is what they call it. It's not a valid form of identification. A valid driver's license or state identification card issued by another state. Again, who verifies that? Who checks to make sure that that's okay? And then certification from the tax administrator that the applicant has filed tax returns for 2 years. That's very easily checked on. But who follows up on that? And if somebody signs an affidavit saying that they're going to become a U.S. citizen when they have time, who follows up on that to see that they became a U.S. citizen? Or do they just continue with the status that they had? And so I won't bother with that much. The driving privilege license permit shall not be a valid form of identification for federal purposes and state voting purposes. I would challenge that. I would be willing to bet that there are ways with that license that people can vote. And we've seen other examples of things. We had a lady at the DMV that sold 286 driver's licenses to illegal alien criminals for $500 up to $3,000. So, I mean, you can't say these things aren't, pie in the sky, that they're not going to happen. And the last thing I'd like to say, and to me, and Steve addressed this, but I'd like to know what we do about it. Provided further, any person aggrieved by a violation of this section may seek appropriate declaratory or injunctive relief and may be awarded damages and costs, including attorney's fees. Don't tell me that that's not going to come into play down the road somewhere where somebody has what I would consider, and maybe some of you might consider, a bogus claim. And we have, from the state of Rhode Island, has to pay that claim and pay the attorney fees. That's all. Thank you very much for having me. Sorry to be the fly in the ointment again, but It's like 25 people are for the bill, and I'm the only one on there against it. Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Bowden?
I'm sorry.
I just want to make a comment, not a question. If these people had their license, they may be able to get a better job where they could afford to acquire their citizenship, pay more taxes to the state of Rhode Island. So, I mean, you're not looking at the other side of this.
Right.
While you keep them in the black, and you had your chance, I'm just going to say my piece. I'm not asking you a question. I said helping them, if they have licenses, they're more employable, they can get better jobs, and they pay more taxes. So a lot of your argument was about money and what it's going to cost Rhode Islanders. But they could then afford to acquire their citizenship, which we know is very costly. So just, that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay, you said yours, I want to say mine.
I respectfully disagree.
I know.
And I feel as though all this does is invite more illegal aliens to come to Rhode Island. And how will we address that? If this is, the driver's licenses now, if they're only going to be able to give them to 3,034 people, not 25,000 as to...
Some of those may be children too, you know. I mean,
No,
that's what
no, this is 25,000 employed illegal aliens. in the
Yeah,
state
I
of Rhode
think
Island.
they testified last year, the police did, that it was 20 plus thousand undocumented people in this state. They thought there could be.
It's over 35,000. Matter of fact, the Latino
We could argue
Policy,
all day long. I
oh,
just
the
wanted to
Latino
say-
Policy Institute says it's much more.
Okay.
And I mean, and that's not Terry Gorman making up those numbers. They said it. And the Latino Policy Institute said there were 25,000 illegal
Terry, I don't wanna
aliens
argue.
employed in Rhode Island, not
Okay.
total in Rhode Island.
I just wanted to
Employed.
give my statement, so thank you.
Thank you.